So can AI actually run government? That's what Victor Miller from Wyoming wanted to find out when he ran for mayor with a platform of using AI to make all major government decisions. Here's a few audio clips from the interview he did with the Hard Fork podcast.
It's a story about a Wyoming librarian named Victor Miller, who ran for mayor on the promise that he would exclusively use a customized AI chatbot to run the city. So we have so many questions for you, but I want to start with a really practical one, which is, if Vic, your AI, had become mayor, how would it have worked? What would you have done as mayor, and what would the AI have done?
Well, I would have done everything that you expect the human would have to do. This was from one council meeting.
You're holding a sort of very thick sheaf of documents.
Yeah. So 488 pages of supporting documents for one council meeting. And so that's, in theory, what our councilmen and our mayor are reading through. Those are official documents that they are supposed to use to vote on the yay or the nay of an ordinance. I see these people that they kind of cram the night before, and they probably skim it at best. And Vic reads those, understands them to perfection, thinks about them, and votes based on the data. And that's really the shining light of what I was trying to offer the citizens of Cheyenne.
So this really got me thinking about my time when I was working for the federal and municipal governments early in my career. In one job, I'd be part of a team that would help brief a Canadian federal minister, someone similar to a secretary in the US president's cabinet. Same thing when I was working in a municipal government, where we would provide the councillors with various briefing materials for various announcements when they get ready for committee or council meetings. A new subway proposal, briefing binders. A budget debate, briefing binders. New bylaws, briefing binders. Economic development issues, more briefing binders. Binders from government administrators, binders from political aides. It'd be a sea of binders with hundreds, if not thousands of pages that these politicians would have to read. There's no way any politician can read, let alone retain all that, especially if you have an announcement or something to say in a matter of hours and you just got that binder, I don't know, the night before or a couple hours before. This means even more uninformed or less than informed decision making. Well, AI actually makes that really easy. For summarization, analysis, transcription of missed meetings, transcriptions of council meetings that can then be turned into summaries that can be analyzed, maybe extracted key decisions, even things that, some politicians might miss. To take it one step further, councillors could ask AI trained on all these briefing materials, meeting minutes, notes, summaries, and ask or maybe get recommendations on potential decisions. I'm not saying that AI would actually take over the decision making like Victor Miller was looking at, although with some of the decisions that politicians have made lately, you'd have to think maybe AI would do a better job. But imagine having government leaders and administrators having a trained AI advisor on all these topics or specific topics to help them with day-to-day understanding of said topics, or help give them some recommendations on potential paths forward, especially ones that maybe they wouldn't consider. And remember, with all these briefing binders and materials that they would have to read, there's no way that people can retain all that information to make a reasoned decision. I know they have a lot of staff, but it couldn't help to have an AI as part of the team. So here's a couple tactics that politicians, aspiring politicians, and even government administrators could try to help them with their day-to-day job. This goes from super simple to more advanced. The first one is really easy. For every council meeting or committee meeting or whatever level meeting, have it transcribed and summarized, and then analyzed for outputs like key decisions, key points, key insights, potential next steps by an AI. Now this could be easily done with Otter, Firefly, Teams, Google Meets, really simple to do. Number two, one could train a custom GPT, Google Gems, Claude Artifact on specific issues that community, city, state, maybe even nationally is currently dealing with. Train it on all the briefing materials and all the information that you would have normally provided to these decision makers. Obviously, be mindful of the privacy that you're feeding these systems. You can use it to retrieve information as a recommendation tool, analysis tool, comparison tool, or really just to bounce ideas off of as if it's another advisor to your team. And finally, you can also create automations from these summaries or recommendations that could be turned into emails, key messages, right before you deliver them. So you're not starting from a blank slate whenever you have to write any of these things. And take it from me, I remember there's a lot of times when, from a speech to a news release to really any material that we're creating based on hundreds of pages of briefing material, it'd been really nice to have an AI there to give you that starting point, and then you can edit it as you go. So I really think AI has a really unique and niche place for politicians and in government. And if used correctly and make sure to respect data and data privacy, you could really get some fantastic use cases and really, help with government decisions and making more better informed decisions, and really taking all those briefing binders and compressing them so you don't have to, it'll save you time.